Hello, you join me on the set of Odd Ones, which is a new show that we've got coming out every other Sunday. Go check it out. Except right now, instead of having two entertaining people sat in front of you, you have me. Sorry. Okay, so today basically what I want to talk about, as the title suggests, is why applying for jobs in the media industry sucks. I do want to preface this first by saying I'm not talking about anywhere that I have personally worked in the past. I'm just talking about the job listings I have seen whilst searching for other jobs and kind of gone, oh, wow, okay, what the hell are you doing? Now, I feel like I've been fairly lucky in that since leaving university, I've always been able to work in jobs that I've considered to be relevant to my field, whether I've been doing camera operating or editing or producing or directing or a mix of all of those. I've always kind of been able to work within the media realm, whether that's been for a more traditional production company or it's been more of a small in-house media guy role where I've kind of been the only one in the office that's specializing in something media related, and the company itself specializes in something more specific. Like at one point I was doing care training videos, for example. I think it's good to diversify your skill set. It's good to multi-role. So with that in mind, I feel that some companies on these job sites kind of take the piss. And I feel like if you've been applying for jobs in the media industry recently, you probably have a good idea of what I'm talking about. It's a pretty big problem at the moment, and it might even apply to other industries, but I know for a fact that in the media industry, it is a particular issue. So what do you mean, I hear you ask? Except I don't hear you because I'm alone. Well, let me tell you, let's say you've just finished university, you've just finished your film degree, shall we say, and you're ready to start looking for jobs. You want to find some entry-level job just to kind of get your foot in the door, get yourself into the industry. You hop onto Indeed or Monster or whatever job website you tend to use, excited for what kind of opportunities might present themselves to you, and what you see next just sort of breaks you inside a little bit. Junior video editor wanted, 4 years experience, must be able to do video editing, 2D motion graphics, 3D animation, graphic design, photo editing. You must be proficient at using Premiere Pro, Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator. The list goes on and on and on. So there's a few reasons that this is kind of messed up, and you shouldn't look at this and take it as, oh no, I've wasted my entire life, I haven't learned any of these things, what's going on? No, the reality is, it's pretty unfair. First of all, it's a junior position with a junior position wage, and yet they want you to have had all this experience, and unfortunately, they're not going to class the 3 years that you spent doing your film degree as experience. So you're going to have had to have worked in enough jobs over the course of 4 years to have accumulated all that experience in all those different fields, and then still be expected to start working at a junior level position with a junior level salary. Now, there's nothing wrong, obviously, with working at a junior level salary if you are at a junior level yourself in your career. But the reality is that these places are asking you to have experience in all these different fields that even people that are very seasoned within the industry probably don't have that much experience in, at least not in every single different aspect that they're asking for. So what it comes down to is that they want you to have worked in another job similar to this one that they're posting about, where you have worked for longer than you've already studied your degree for in order to get into this entry-level job, if you like. Now, they also want you to be able to use the entire Adobe Creative Suite, which, for those of you that don't know, the Adobe Suite has a bunch of different programs that are tailored towards, you know, different sort of specialist roles within the industry. You've got Photoshop for photo editing, you've got Premiere Pro for video editing, After Effects for doing motion graphics, Illustrator for doing graphic design, all that kind of stuff. And they want you to be proficient at all of those. Sometimes this comes down to the fact that the person that's posting the job listing, the person that's doing the recruiting, doesn't really fully understand the intricacies of the media industry, which you can kind of understand. It's just sort of annoying when they see media as this big umbrella term. Oh, you studied film, so you know all these things, right? You know all the media stuff, you know, photos, videos, animations. That was all covered, right? You should know all that. It's under the media umbrella. But as we all know, that's not how it works. There's a lot of different professions within the media umbrella that entire degrees are dedicated to. It's much like if someone did an engineering degree, there's different types of engineering. If someone's working in the sciences, there's different types of science degrees. I can't give you specifics because there's so many and I don't know things about those industries, so I don't want to talk a lot of crap. But that's kind of what these recruiters do sometimes, where they just assume that it's all under this one blanket term. Chances are, if like me, you did a degree in film production, you would have touched on things like video editing, alongside other things like cinematography and directing, and maybe if you'd chosen certain types of modules, you might have also got some experience with After Effects, doing some basic 2D motion graphics, and maybe even some sound design with things like Audition. That's great. But then they also want you to have experience in things like photography and actual animation, 3D animation, using things like, I don't know, Blender. Is that what they use in these courses? I don't know, because I didn't do a degree in that course. And yet this job post basically wants you to have done 2 to 3 degrees worth of academic study in order to cover these different topics, or have worked in enough different jobs, in enough different types of fields to have accumulated the necessary experience in all these different aspects. It's just really annoying. It bugs me, okay? It bugs me, in case you couldn't tell. It's annoying. You spend 3 to 4 years doing this one particular course, spending all the student loan money, thinking that you're owning your craft, only to then come out into the big real world and realize, actually, it seems like I don't know anything. And the example I've given isn't unique to video editing positions. It happens with other things as well, like videographers, for example, which is something I used to apply for quite a lot. Must be able to shoot, light, and direct solo. Okay, fine, that's pretty standard. That's pretty normal for small in-house videographers. They need to be able to shoot, light, direct. Fine. Should also be able to edit all of the footage captured. Also pretty standard. Sometimes it is just you as a solo operator doing all the filming and editing for a company. Pretty normal stuff if the salary is reasonable enough. Then it goes on to say, must be proficient at 2D animation and be able to edit graphics for the website. And you just think, oh, never mind then. Graphic design, photography, animation, they are their own specialisms, they have their own disciplines, they have their own softwares to learn, they have their own rules to work by. They're different professions. I need to make one thing very clear that bugs me quite a bit, is you always see videography and photography get put together in the same role. And yes, some people can do both. I'm not going to say no one could do both videography and photography. It's not that that's impossible. It's the way that they kind of phrase these things as if it's sort of expected that you are to be a professional in both of those things. Odds are someone is very good at videography and okay at photography, or very good at photography and okay at videography. They're different disciplines, as I say. They use different equipment, different techniques, different setups. You have to use different software after you've captured whatever it is that you're capturing. Just because they both use cameras does not make them the same thing. It'd be like asking your local GP if they can perform brain surgery on you, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you work in the medical industry, why don't you know this? You should know this, right? You're a doctor. And there's different types of doctors, there's different things within the medical industry that different people are going to understand more than others, and that's just the way it is with most industries, I would say. It's not impossible to think that someone could do videography and photography, or do animation and video editing. I can, to an extent, do all of those things, but I can do 2 of those things a lot better than the other 2. And there are rare exceptions where you get someone who kind of considers themselves to be a jack of all trades and can do all these different things. And more often than not, that's taken them years and years to kind of get enough experience to be able to do all of those different things effectively. Often you find that the person that specializes in one particular field will often be a lot more proficient in that field than the jack of all trades is at any one of those things that they can do. It is kind of hard sometimes to feel like companies aren't just trying to save money with some of these job postings that go out. They have all these roles that need to be filled, but they only want to pay one person to do it. So they just try and get someone in as this blanket media guy who can fill all these different positions that would otherwise require them to pay for 3 or 4 different salaries for different people to do all those jobs well. And you tend to find that when they do hire these jack of all trade types, you kind of find that either the person isn't as good as all those different things as they've claimed to be, they've kind of winged it on their CV or whatever, to make it seem like they're really good at all these different things when in reality they only have surface level knowledge, or that person is really good at that stuff, but they get very burnt out because it's just them having to do everything, or they feel extremely undervalued because the wage does not reflect the amount of work and the amount of skill and time they are putting into what they're doing. It is just completely unrealistic to expect a graduate to have had the experience to do all these different things, and on the flip side, it is unrealistic to expect someone that has all this experience to do it for the wage that's being advertised a lot of the time for these entry-level junior positions, which basically are not that. Now, I don't want to post any specific examples of what I'm talking about in this video because I feel like it can sometimes just be an honest mistake. I don't want to out any companies that are putting up job posts like this because, yeah, sometimes, like I say, the person making the post just doesn't understand exactly what they're looking for or what they're asking for. They don't understand the industry. But, you know, whatever their reason, it's still demoralizing for people who, especially those that have come fresh out of university, that start looking for all these sites and they just get hit with all these barriers. They think they're going online to find some opportunities, and instead they're kind of being shut down and made to feel like they know virtually nothing. So if you are one of those people that is currently looking for work and is being disheartened by all the things that they're seeing on these job sites at the moment, all I can say to you is try not to let it get to you too much. Keep going, keep searching. You will eventually find that job that comes up and just is right for you. It's fair, what they're presenting is a good opportunity for a fair wage, and they aren't requesting an unrealistic amount of experience. It's a realistic amount of work for what they're offering. It will come up eventually, I promise you. Widen your search criteria, be willing to move if you can to wherever the work is based. I find that sometimes people keep things a bit too local. With the media industry especially, you kind of need to be willing to go where the work is sometimes. I've been there before a couple of times now where I've been looking for a new job and I've been going through the job posts, and you just have to persevere, you just have to stick at it. Eventually something good will turn up and you will find what you're looking for. So with all that said, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm going to try and make a few more of these in between Odd Ones episodes. We were able to record 6 of those before the UK lockdown hit us again, so we're hoping to film a few more of those ready for release next year. So look forward to that, and we'll see you in the next one.